All right, welcome back, True Seeker. It was another lucrative week taking advantage of rig football. And for example, tonight, assuming the Cowboys don't score anymore, the ritual will definitely be perfect. We thought the Cowboys were easily going to win this game, looking at the games for the start of the week. And it had everything to do with two numbers, 41 and 49. And as you can see, we're in the closing minutes of the game, and the Cowboys are up 41-21. And one of the reasons the key number was 41 is because in Gematria, Dallas equals 41. Today has 41 date numerology, and if Dak Prescott won the game, which he's clearly going to win, he was going to become 4-1 versus the Eagles and become 4-1 on Monday Night Football. 4-1, when you learn the code, is just like 41. So on the 41 date numerology, where Dallas equals 41, that's what's happened. Dak Prescott's become 4-1 versus the Eagles. And again, 4-1 on Monday Night Football. And he might very well win the score with 41. And if you've been here the 8 years we've been doing this, a million times we've called the game before it happened, and the score ends up being the exact number we're zeroed in on. Now, the one other number, I know Gematria.com has been down most of the day. When it has problems like that, it hasn't had problems like that in a while. When it's down, just use my other website, GematriaEffectNews. It's got a calculator up on the top. I want you to see that in the most simple cipher, in fact, here I'm going to get rid of everything but the most simple cipher, simple English Gematria. But if you write out Dallas, you see how it's 49? Dallas is 49. And when you write out Eagles, it's also 49. Dallas and Eagles, both 49, right? Dallas, Eagles, both 49. Guess what win number Dallas is picking up tonight all time on Monday Night Football? If you guessed 49, you are exactly correct. Tonight, Dallas will get their 49th win in the history of playing on Monday Night Football over the Eagles and in Dallas. So, again, when we saw those things at the beginning of the week, our eyeballs just popped out. We said, that looks like a gimme. Just like last night, we felt like it was a gimme with Aaron Rodgers because we'd already seen the ritual. Again, if you've been here since the beginning, when I first began teaching the work, I only knew these two ciphers, the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. If you write out Aaron Rodgers, his name equals 63. Last night, Sunday Night Football, was the 63rd regular season meeting between the 49ers and Green Bay. And remember, Aaron Rodgers is from the Bay Area. He played at Cal. He grew up a 49er fan. He came out of Cal early because the Niners had the number one pick, and he thought they'd take him overall. And again, it should... You guys, there's so many examples to see how bullshit sports are. And I'm going to talk about Sunday Night Baseball, which was directly connected with Sunday Night Football last night because it was a big 63 ritual. With the Yankees, who I said at the All-Star break would have 63 wins by the end of the Field of Dreams game, which is exactly what they did have. But I'll bring all this together. But Jimmy G last night, yesterday was September 26th, Sunday Night Football, 26/9, like 269. September 26th is also the 269th day of the year. And Jimmy G fell to 26-9 in the regular season and 13-5 at home. And you see Aaron Rodgers with the alphabetic order 135, with the alphabetic order and rules numerology 63, right? So this perfect ritual. And just going through the games. Panthers and Texans. Again, this was on Thursday Night Football. TNF in the most pure ciphers 13, right? TNF 13. The first game of the season was TNF Dallas, right? Dallas is also 13 like TNF. Tom Brady got his 13th all-time win on TNF. The next week, Giants and Redskins, now Washington football team. The Giants picked up their 13th loss on Thursdays on the date 16/9, like 169 has a square root of 13. This past week, Sam Darnold improved to 1-3 on Thursday Night Football. And I'm forgetting it right now, I'm spacing it, but there were two other 13s that all went in favor of Carolina on TNF, where 13 is playing each week. So again, it's about identifying the patterns. Last year, what they were doing every Thursday was doing a 35 riddle. So last year, it was all about 35 on Thursday. This year, they're going with 13 so far on TNF. And again, For all the people who sit there and troll and say, Zach will only give you sports information if you pay for it. Again, you guys are just liars and frauds. I give out free picks all the time. I told you guys who was going to win the Super Bowl days in advance. I feel bad about the way I did it in hindsight because it's messed up, man. I mean, I didn't mean for it to be that way, but I played the Black Rob like whoa song, with the Tom Brady greatest of all time ritual. And I didn't know that Black Rob was in ill health and was about to die with DMX 24 years after doing the song 24 Hours to Live, where DMX starts his verse 24 left until my death. Of course, he died in a big Jesuit ritual Easter Sunday. And it looks like Cowboys are going to finish with 41 points. And I mean, that's what he said, before the week even started. It looked like Dallas was a freebie with the 41s, and they win with 41 points. The Bills in Washington, the Bills got to 7-2 at home against Washington all time. Jesuit order 72. There was a few other things there. I mean, no surprise that the Bills would beat Washington. The Browns became 10-7 versus the Bears. Fields equals 107. Fields 107. Put the phone on. Again, I'm not taking calls right now, you guys. The Browns became 10-7 versus the Bears, right? And Fields was making his debut, who played at Ohio State. Here he is playing the Cleveland Browns. The Browns become 10-7 versus the Bears, like 107. 107 is the 28th prime. Browns equals 28. So perfect ritual. And again, it just shows these guys are born and bred to be. You couldn't have a quarterback drafted to the Bears if it was all about the war room and making the best pick and then have the schedule perfect like this so the Browns can become 10-7 versus the Bears all time against the Ohio State star. You know what I mean? It's because these guys are born and bred to be. These are the Manchurians on the field. The Ravens beat the Lions. I thought the Lions were going to play the Ravens tough in this game, which they did. But I said, even though the Lions have a great riddle to win, the Lions almost always lose, even when they have a great riddle. So I imagine the Ravens are getting through here, and I explained a few reasons why I expect the Ravens to win. But look at how they win on a record-setting 66-yard field goal. Here, this is why over the years we've learned that you need all the base ciphers, the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. Well, here, I'll start right here. This is what I would have saw back in 2013. In the most pure cipher, Baltimore Ravens is 66, right? Now I'm going to write out Lions. Do you see a 66 up there? No, you see a 69 with the alphabetic order and a 24 with the alphabetic order and rules numerology. But what happens when you run the alphabetic order in reverse? When you run it in reverse, guess what Lions equals? Lions equals 66, right? So we now have the record-setting 66-yard field goal against the Lions kicked by the Baltimore Ravens kicker. And look at the score, you guys, 19-17. Did you know when the record 63-yard kick was set? It was against the Lions. It was Saints-Lions with a winning score of 19-17 with the record 63-yard kick. And I don't know if you caught this, but they reported that up until tonight, Monday Night Football, that there were 63 touchdowns scored for the week. The last game played was the Aaron Rodgers 63 ritual, with him becoming 6-3 versus the 49ers in the 63rd meeting of those teams. And remember, in 2018, I called the NFL league office over the Monday Night Football ritual with Rodgers getting his 63rd home win over the 49ers on the 63-date numerology with 63 points scored in the game, 33-30. But now you have another record-setting kick against the Lions with the exact same score, 19-17, and Saints equals 19. That's who did it the first time. And for the person who says, well, how is this possible? Again, you got to use your imagination a little bit. There's a video on YouTube of a kicker kicking field goals with helium-filled balls. If you put helium in the ball, it flies a lot further, kind of like if you use a special core for baseball, that you can wind a core tighter and then the ball flies a lot further. They make balls like that for older people that play softball, so the 80-year-olds, when they hit the ball with their super slow 80-year-old swing because they don't have they're not like when they're 20 anymore, but it makes it so a pop comes off the ball and they still kind of hit the ball because the core's wound tighter. It's more explosive. And I'm sure they use balls like that in baseball when they need the home runs. But, this ball hit the crossbar. And I'm always talking about the rituals with field goals and how they're almost always touching the bar, like there's some kind of technology pulling it to it. But again, we do live in a world of advanced technology. There's somehow, some way they're making these rituals happen. These are planned rituals. And I bet you if Justin Tucker had missed it, out would have came the flag because the script was for the Ravens to win. Pretty sure the Ravens are going to have a real specific record by the end of their game with the Colts, the old Baltimore team. Titans and Colts. I know we were on the Titans in this one. I should have went back over my notes. Well, here, bear with me a second. I'll just pull up my notes. So, hold on. For Patreon, should pull it up. All right, here we go. NFL Week 3. Let's see what we wrote for the Titans game. Okay, so this was the 54th all-time meeting, Tennessee Titans 54. I liked it Wentz in his 71st game falling to 35-35, because this is who runs the show, the Catholic Church, the Jesuit order. Jesuits serve the Catholic Church. Sunday, football, Jesus worship. And think about always Jesus with the mandorla around him, right? The mandorla, the shape of the football, the eye. It's all about the eye. Genesis 3:5, eyes, I equals 35. A lot of rituals in football at 35. It's part of the reason the first Super Bowl was won by the Jesuit-controlled Packers with the score of 35. But I liked Wentz falling to 35-35-1 in his 71st game. He's got one tie there as well. And, yeah, so, again, Titans looked like the call here, especially if Wentz was playing. And Chargers and Chiefs. This game, I was leaning the Chiefs on this one. I started to get a little bit worried about the Chiefs because the Chargers gave them trouble last year. And the thing was, again, this game was on 26/9, like 269. Plus, it's the 269th day of the year. That's the 57th prime number. The Chiefs picked up their 57th loss against the Chargers on this day. We saw that as a possibility. I was kind of doubting it. It's interesting that Brady and Mahomes both played the two teams that play in the Super Bowl stadium Sunday on a date with 56 numerology. And again, the Chargers and the Rams. Chargers played the Chiefs. Rams played the Bucks on a 56 date numerology. Super Bowl 56 is going to be in their building in LA. And the Chiefs and Brady lost. So, that was a little bit surprising to me. The Rams definitely had a riddle to win, and the Chargers had the 57 thing. But anyway, that was kind of the surprise of the week. The Saints became 4-5 at the Patriots. Again, if you can only have one cipher, it's right here. New Orleans, you see where it equals 45? Look at New England. It's also 45 in that same cipher, plus New England's 45 in reverse. The Saints became 4-5 at New England by winning this weekend. And, again, a lot of times it's as simple as that. For years, I've told you guys, when a team is retiring a jersey for a former player, almost every single time the home team loses. The Giants retired the jersey of Eli. Eli equals 26 on the 26th, right? The most simple cipher, Eli is 26. On the 26th, they retire his jersey, and his home team loses. This happens almost every time in all of sports. Baseball, basketball, football, it doesn't matter. If you bought tickets to a game where they're going to retire somebody's jersey, and you're a fan of that team, which you shouldn't be. I don't know why you're fans of rigged sports. I mean, it's kind of pathetic. But I've always been a fan. Well, what? Are you incapable of changing? Are you incapable of evolving? You want to continue to, celebrate rigged bullshit by overpaid assholes who don't give a fuck about you? But again, just another example of what I've been talking about for 8 straight years. I haven't had to change my message about anything. I just keep getting backed up day after day. The Bengals and Steelers, there were good riddles going both ways. I said if you're going to bet on this game, get on both sides of it. And, the Bengals win with their classic 24 in the most pure cipher. What do you think Bengals equals? 24. And Cardinals over Jaguars. I can't figure out what it is about Arizona in 99, but Arizona really likes 99. They did so many rituals with the Suns in 99 in the playoffs. Anytime the Diamondbacks can become 9-9 in some category, if that ever shows up in a game, a pitcher can become 9-9, they can become 9-9 for the season, a team can become 9-9 against them. It happens every single time. And the Cardinals, Kyler Murray came 9-9 on the road for his career. And normally when I'm talking about the Jaguars, I'm talking about 66. That's their big number. 66 and 99 are flipped upside down. Jimi Hendrix, if 6 was 9. That part could be coincidental, but there's something about Arizona in 99 that I don't understand. I mean, I understand it and how they use it in sports rituals over and over, but I don't know why. Like, normally I know why they use the numbers with teams. Arizona doesn't equal 99. There's got to be something with that state history that I'm missing, because there's some reason that they're like a magnet with 99. So, the Broncos and Jets, there were like, what was it? There were several things that lined up for the Broncos. This wasn't even a flinch game. I think probably everybody in Vegas was. I doubt, outside of the most hardcore Jets fans, nobody bet on the Jets in this game. The Raiders, we thought the Raiders had a good shot against the Dolphins. So did the public. The majority of public money was on the Raiders. But again, the reason I like the Raiders is because of what happens next week. If something had to happen for the Raiders this week for it to happen next week. And again, that's all on the Patreon. I will save some stuff for the people who support the work. But the Rams and the Bucs, you had good narratives going both ways. I was leaning more towards Brady, though. And the reason why is because had Brady won, he would have got his 233rd win. And 233 is a really interesting number because it's the 51st prime number and it's the 13th Fibonacci number. And in the most simple cipher, Rams equals 51 and LA equals 13. And I swear with some of these games, they're coded so well on both sides, it's like they're train tracks where the switch is, right? And it's like, I swear some of these games, it must just depend on where the money is, because I feel like, in an alternate universe, Brady could have just as easily won that game. And usually when Brady has a riddle, he wins. I mean, the guy doesn't have many losses to his career. But I was leaning, Mahomes and Brady are what got me this weekend. I mean, we dominated, again, college and pro, but it could have been a little bit better. We've done much better because there's some weeks where we're damn near flawless. So there's some weeks where we are flawless. And again, Brady had a pretty decent riddle, but it didn't come through. The Rams had some numbers that lined up for them as well. It would make sense if either team was going to become 3-0 because Rams is 30 and Tampa's 30. Now you're going to have the battle of the undefeated in the NFC West next week. Cardinals will face the Rams, and both teams are 3-0. The Vikings we liked a lot. They were a nice underdog play this week because they became 6-12 versus Seattle. Minneapolis is the 612 area code. And, again, more proof that you need the reverse cipher. Notice where Vikings is 44, so is Seattle. Vikings 44. Whoops. Well, that's fine because it just brought up the cipher. Seattle's 44 in that same cipher running it in reverse where Vikings is. The Vikings became 4-4 at home versus Seattle. You see? And they became 6-12 overall, like Minneapolis is the 612 area code. And then Packers again, you know what? I haven't listened to this since I did it in 2018, but let me see. Zachary Hubbard, NFL League Office. What, is the video not here? What's this? What is this? What is this? Zachary Hubbard calls NFL. It used to just come right up. There it is. It's still there. Okay, here, let's just go back and listen to this phone call. It's funny. It's 5:04. I didn't do that on purpose. Here, this is me calling the NFL League Office about Aaron Rodgers' 63 ritual against the 49ers. And now here we are on primetime again, and again, an Aaron Rodgers. And by the way, I told my people on Patreon that I expected that Aaron Rodgers would have to come back and win it in a game just like it was October 15, 2018. That's exactly what he had to do, and Mason Crosby kicked the game winner. I mean, it just deja vu. And keep in mind, Mason Crosby, there ended up being 58 combined points in the game. Freemasonry's 58, like Secret Society. Mason also equals 62. He dropped home teams to 6-2 in prime time. But here, let's go back and listen to this old blast from the past where I called the NFL League Office. Here we go.
Rigged. Yeah. Here we go. Just turn up the volume.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling National Football League. How may I help you?
Yes, can I talk to the Hollywood scriptwriter for Monday Night Football, please?
One moment for me.
Awesome. She knew who to connect me to. That was cool. Just say, looking for that Hollywood scriptwriter. If you guys didn't watch Monday Night Football, that's how they closed it out. They said it was a Hollywood script.
Thank you for calling the National Football League. Please share your comments and we will direct them to the appropriate parties. We appreciate your call.
Hey, thank you so much for taking my call. I wish I was talking to a live person, but I'm sure you'll want to call me back ASAP. Please get that phone number that I'm dialing from off the voice recorder. Anyway, I was watching Monday Night Football tonight, and I just got to thank you. It was such a great Hollywood script. I loved how the commentator he blurted it out. What a Hollywood script. You see, you guys have helped me build up this following because I figured out how your games are rigged, and now people like to learn from me. And, before Monday Night Football was even played, I said, Aaron Rodgers in the language of Gematria, which is, it's mostly a Jewish language. Let's be honest about it. The name Aaron Rodgers sums to 63. He's going to pick up his 63rd home win tonight on Monday Night Football. And sure enough, he did. Over his favorite team, the 49ers, where he played at Cal. He thought he was going to be drafted by the Niners. And wasn't it funny that the game was 49 days from his birthday playing the 49ers on Monday Night Football? But anyway, Aaron Rodgers, 63, picked up his 63rd home win. It was a date with 63 numerology, and I'm sure you know what the score was there. I didn't just ask the woman to connect me to the Hollywood scriptwriter, so I'm sure you know that the score was 33-30, 63 points. We also know over here that MNF's 33. We know how you guys love that number. Synagogue of Satan in your satanic gematria cipher, NFL 137, the 33rd prime. We love it all over here. We're enjoying the scripts. We're waking up the masses. Our whole goal is to make it so that you guys have a 0 rating and nobody shows up at these taxpayer-paid-for stadiums. Also, what was real sick of you guys this week was what happened over there in London. I told my people it was a big Seattle ritual. The Raiders and the Seahawks had last played 206 weeks earlier. Seattle's the 206 area code. Wembley Stadium equals 206. And Pete Carroll, who loved to chew his... don't you guys just love how Petey chews his bubble gum all the time like he's a big cow chomping on a wad of grass? Anyway, Pete Carroll, he's just so energetic over there. But Pete Carroll, he became the winningest coach in Seattle history all time, picking up his 82nd regular season win where Seattle equals 82. Cutie's on his 82 career losses all time, counting his years with the Jets in New England. Anyway, we see it all over here. We're talking about it before it happens. Your scripts are hilarious. Keep them coming. Hoping Robert Roberts still has his job there. What a great name, Robert Roberts. If I have ever a child, I'm probably going to name him just after my man there, Robert Roberts. That's you listening right now, Robert. Keep on keeping on, brother. What was your dad's name? Dave Davidson, the son of Steve Stevenson. What else? Debbie Dills. That wasn't your mother. That wasn't your mother, was it? Debbie Dills? Oh no, that was the lady who saw Dylan Stormroof. You guys are the best over there. I know how you guys script the news and the sports together. Were you the writer for Dylan Stormroof too, Robert Roberts? You guys keep it up. Pretty soon you're all going to be exposed. It's been a long time coming. You guys are the best and the worst all at once. Anyway, looking forward to your phone call. Maybe you can help me write our next book together. Give me some more things in history that I'm overlooking. We've tried to cover all the years of the rigged NFL. And don't feel alone there, We're covering all the rigged sports, the MLB, the NBA. We know you and your cousins, they run it all. This isn't anti-Semitic, is it? I hope not. Speaking facts shouldn't be anti-Semitic, but we know who runs all these leagues. We know who's into the Kabbalah and the Gematria and naming their children with whatever ridiculous name has the right numbers, like Robbie Roberts. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'm talking your ear off. Look forward to the scripts this week. Hey, Thursday Night Football tomorrow night. I see how you guys have it synced up with the Pope. Oh, and God, that was good. Before we go, I know I said I was going to go, but I got one more. I loved what you did on Christopher Columbus Day. You synced up the MLB with the NFL. You had the genocide of the native teams. The Braves knocked off. The Indians knocked off. And then what happened there in the Redskins game? Oh, my God. The Saints, the Catholic symbolism on Christopher Columbus, the Jewish guy paid for by the Catholic Church. What was the score? 43-19, 62 points. Genocide equals 62. The Dodgers beat the Braves 6-2. Drew Brees has a wide-open receiver. I mean, I could have put out any Pee-wee football team out there. They would have been closer to that receiver there. I mean, then, God, it's just embarrassing. But anyway, 62-yard reception, the record breaker.
You are approaching the maximum length for a recording. Finish your recording after the tone.
Damn, I guess that was the end. All right, Robbie, until next time.
All right, so if you guys missed that live at the time, I was just doing one of my long live streams. Everybody in the chat was like, call the NFL league office. So that was just impromptu at the time. I felt like I did an all right job. I nailed them on a lot of things. But, I mean, here we are. It's 3 years later, and they're doing the exact same damn script. And just instead of on Green Bay's field, it's San Francisco's, which might as well be Aaron Rodgers' field. And, again, a massive 63 ritual Sunday Night Football. What's going on Sunday Night Baseball, the other big sport going on at the same time? You got the Yankees and the Red Sox, the classic Major League Baseball matchup. And what was going on in that game, I get offended, you guys. I get offended that people can't see that sports are rigged when I watch them because I don't even know what's wrong with people. I don't even know what's wrong with people, Look at the score of the game, you guys, 6-3, right? Remember, at the All-Star break, I said the Yankees will be on 63 wins by the end of the Field of Dreams game. And I had such a specific prediction because, again, if you can only have one cipher, it's the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. I've always explained it as the most pure cipher. I learned that from Manly P. Hall. I learned that from Faith Giovanni, the people that wrote about this knowledge decades before I was alive. And when you write out Major League Baseball in the most pure cipher, it's 63, right? 63, Major League Baseball. And if you run the alphabetic order in reverse, what's interesting is, just run it in reverse with numerology. If you do that, Major League alone, hold on. I got to get so the cipher's right. There it is. See, Major League is 63, right? Major League with the alphabetic order forwards is 45, which is the 9th triangular number. And, of course, baseball is a game of nines, right? If you wanted to strike out 3 batters in the minimal amount of pitches, it would be 9, just like there's 9 innings in a game, right? 63 in numerology is 9, so is 45, but 45 is the 9th triangular number. And remember, baseball, with the most simple cipher, equals 54, like 54 outs in a game, 5 plus 4, 9. It's all 9. I mean, look at Major League Baseball with the alphabetic order, right? Here, let me get the ciphers up here, right? The most simple cipher, Major League Baseball, 162, like how many games in a season, right? Baseball with the alphabetic order in reverse, also 162. No, it's 54 and 2 out of the 4 ciphers. But 63 is the classic MLB ritual number. So, on a day where they're going crazy with 63 in the NFL, where they're doing a massive 63 ritual in Sunday Night Football, you also have a baseball game that finishes 6-3. And how did the score get there? How did the score get there? The Yankees were up 2-1 when I turned on the game, and the way Boston ended up taking the lead that inning, going up 3-2, and then the next inning, the Yankees went up 6-3. But here's how it happened. The Yankees were up 2-1, and Schwarber's up. Schwarber, who was a big part of the Chicago Cubs script the year they won the World Series, and think about all the stuff we exposed about Schwarber that year, and don't forget we called the Cubs to win the World Series before that season even began, as we've done so many times. But Schwarber, see, this is how I think you might get thrown out of Major League Baseball. If you start getting as sloppy as Schwarber did, you're not supposed to do this shit as a Major League player when the games are scripted. Schwarber was not supposed to get out, and it was so obvious. First, he hit a pop fly in foul territory to the third baseman that was a can of corn. It wasn't some hard... It was hardly off third base. The third baseman was there, and then he acted like at the end, oh, wait, it's over here. And then it went off the tip of his glove, and he dropped it, right? And granted, some days there's a windy day in baseball, and the ball moves a lot more, but still, you're a Major League Baseball player. Hell, you're a good Little League player, you're going to catch the ball. So Seager, who's a gold glover in the MLB, drops the easy foul ball out that should have been an out for Schwarber. So then what does Schwarber do? Then he hits a pop fly to the outfielder, not in a gap, not a line drive, a pop fly, can of corn, as they call it in baseball, which means it's an easy out. And what does the outfielder do? As he's coming over to get the ball, it's an easy out. He starts to short step it. I was just watching it, just being a baseball player in the mechanics. He starts to short step it, and then he leans over, and then he puts his glove down low. And then what's the ball? Why are you short stepping instead of getting under the ball like you're supposed to? And then why are you reaching out and leaning over? And then sure enough, what happens? The ball goes off the tip of his glove, and then Schwarber's on base, and Boston's. I can't remember if it went 2-2 right there. If 2 runs came in on that and it became 3-2, it didn't matter. At the end of the inning, they were up 3-2. The inning should have been over with the Yankees still up 2-1, right? But in one single at bat with Schwarber, he hits 2 easy pop-ups that are all day, every day outs in Major League Baseball and almost on any other baseball field in the world, whether it's a little kids playing or college students or high school kids. I mean, these are easy outs. 2 pop flies not caught. Schwarber fucked up. He was not supposed to get out. And it just goes to show, this is how you can tell that the players are all in on it. You know, it's so obvious. They know the script. That's how they both knew to drop the ball for him. So then what happens the next inning? The Yankees look like they're going to be done for the inning, but then how does their inning get going? Same thing. Outfielder can't catch the ball. It's like, come on, man. We're in one inning. Technically it was the bottom of the whatever inning that happened for Boston. Here, let's just look. It was the bottom of the 7th. The errors happened for Boston to score 2, and then it was the top of the 8th. So just outs apart where now Boston can't catch the ball, and it's just like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me, man. But this is how pro sports are. It's not just this is how pro sports are every day. If you know how to play these games and you watch them, you should know. You should be like, man, why am I not getting the millions to play? I would never make that mistake. I would never miss that. I would never. I mean, it's just like I've been saying that since I was a kid, you guys. I guess I was blessed because I was a good athlete and I was intelligent. But since I was a child, I've been looking at pro athletes and being like, how do you make that mistake? I mean, no way. Do you think the Packers would have really brought back Matt LaFleur to coach their team this year after his decision in the NFC Championship? And I mean, we were laughing all the way to the bank because we had the Bucs all day over the Packers in that NFC Championship game. But do you remember the decision at the end of the game to kick the field goal? Like, how could you possibly ever make that decision? There's almost no time left in the game. A field goal is not going to do anything for you. You're still going to be losing, and now you're going to give the ball back to the other team with almost no time left. Whereas if you get a touchdown, you can actually win the game. So there was no decision to be made. You had to go for the touchdown, not kick a field goal. You mean to tell me Matt LaFleur is going to come back and get paid millions of dollars a year to coach football again for your team when he just blew your whole season? I mean, there's no way. And there's no way that anybody would ever make that decision if they knew a thing about football. And these are just a few examples out of a gazillion that come up almost every week if you watch these games. They're a joke. They're nothing but a joke, pro sports. Just like everything in this nation that's controlled by the Jesuits, including pro sports, it's like done in a way to mock us all along the way. Right now, we're living in the time of the most pathetic, inept response from humanity to obvious fascism and tyranny, which is this supposed pandemic, which is just the biggest, most obvious lie there ever was. And in the NFL, the 4 non-vaccinated quarterbacks all lost in week 1 because you're a loser in the media if you don't get vaccinated. If you don't go out and get criminal Pfizer's rushed out vax, you're a loser. Just like NFL week 1, all the unvaccinated quarterbacks lose. Like the Patriots always suck until 9/11 and the Patriot Act. Then they're just the greatest team ever. The Saints suck dick until they get wiped out with a storm. Then all of a sudden they're Super Bowl champions, right? And how do they become champions, the Saints? Archie Manning played for the Saints his whole career back when they were known as the Aints. How do they win their first championship? Oh, they win it over Archie's son, Peyton. Wow, what a story. What a story. Saw the Manning brothers were doing Monday Night Football today on ESPN2. But I mean, yeah, anyone who watched the Yankees game last night, like, you really think that just all of a sudden none of them knew how to field the ball? They just all lost their mechanics. I mean, go back and watch the highlights of how those drops happened. I mean, those guys they're trying to set up a reason for an excuse for why they dropped it. Seager did the best job because he made it look like the wind shifted the ball on him, It looked like he was getting under it, but then the outfielder who started baby stepping it so he wasn't under the ball and then trying to catch it all low. It's just like, come on, man. Dude, get under the ball and catch the fucking ball and get out of the inning. I mean, that's what they would do if it was real, but that's what pro sports aren't. They're not real, you guys. Every year I'm showing you how the WrestleMania is synced up with the Super Bowl. Every year. This year I showed you how on Monday Night Football on the anniversary of Tupac's death, it wasn't an accident. The Raiders and the Ravens were playing each other. Tupac grew up in Baltimore, moved to Oakland, died in Vegas. Who's playing on football? The Raiders, who represent Oakland and Vegas and Baltimore. And then what's going on in WWE that night? The wrestler Big E is winning the big event. I mean, come on, man. Tupac dead on the 2-year anniversary. Tupac on the 2-year anniversary of Big E's Ready to Die album. Again, these are scripts, you guys. This is mockery. Here, did Dallas finish with 41 points? Here. Let me. Oh, shit, I took it down. Let me just go to my Dallas notes for you. Let's see. Let's go back to the Dallas notes, and let's see how we saw that it was all about 41. Again, we're often seeing the key numbers in the games before they happen. Conclusion for the Aaron Rodgers game. I've seen Aaron Rodgers winning a comeback with 63 points on a 63-date numerology, picking up his 63rd home win versus the 49ers on MNF. I sense a similar story this time in San Francisco on SNF. I mean, is that not exactly what happened, you guys? Eagles and Cowboys. So here we go. Dak can improve to 4-1 at home versus Philadelphia, and Cowboys can pick up 41st win. Oh, 41st home win. The Cowboys also got their 41st home win tonight over the Eagles. And Dak can improve to 4-1 on Monday Night Football on a 41-date numerology. Come on, tell me what the score is tonight. Tell me what the score is tonight. There it is. 41, man. 41. You know what I mean? Hurts can fall to 1-3 away in Dallas. Dallas is 41-13. 41's the 13th prime. And, conclusion. I got to go with Dallas and the numerous 41 rituals lined up in this game on a 41-date numerology. You can wait for more clues from the Sunday games as well. And, I've been doing this for 8 years, you guys, and this isn't anything special. I mean, this is what happens every week when you read my notes and look at the outcomes of the game, college and pro. Speaking of college, let's go over it. We cooked the books with the North Carolina State game this week. Stanford was our big disappointment. I'm still surprised Stanford lost. Here, do you guys see that Georgia scored with 62 again? This was a big ritual in this Georgia-Vanderbilt game. But Alabama winning, Georgia winning, no surprise. Oregon winning, no surprise. Oklahoma winning, no surprise. I thought West Virginia might press Oklahoma in this game, though, but we assumed Oklahoma would take it. Oklahoma did not cover the spread. I said West Virginia was worth $1 on a parlay because you can turn $1 into $100 with this knowledge easy. A team like West Virginia wins and you take the cake games and it comes through, your dollar is $100. Iowa, we had Penn State. Again, I told you guys about Pennsylvania in the 152nd season. Arkansas, Texas A&M. Man, this game had a tight riddle, and I feel... You guys know they ranked... Look at this. They ranked... Arkansas was 16 going into this week. They're now ranked 8th in the nation after week 4. Look at this, you guys. Arkansas... Whoops. Oh, yeah, his website's... Well, here. Arkansas in the most simple cipher is 84, right? After college week 4, Arkansas is now 8. You see how Arkansas is 84-21? They've been doing some 21 stuff with Arkansas this year, too. It's the 2021 season. Jesuits 84-21. That's who runs it. Arkansas is not a Jesuit university, but a lot of these public universities are run by Jesuits, even though they're not Jesuit universities. The score was 20-10, 2-1. They become the 8th seed after week 4, getting to 4-0. The reason we liked North Carolina State was for 2 reasons. The coach picked up his 81st win. In the most simple cipher, Clemson is 81. The North Carolina State coach got his 81st win, and then North Carolina State got their 16th home win over Clemson all time in week 4. How do 16 and 4 connect? Math, right? The square root of 16 is 4. Every single 16 that was on the board this week came through. Ohio State over Akron, no surprise. Florida over Tennessee, no surprise. We're on the right side of these games. Notre Dame and Wisconsin I thought was iffy, but after this game was over, The thing that I screwed up on with this game, I didn't get it wrong. It's just I was torn on this game. I thought it could go either way. Notice Notre Dame won with 41 again. What's Notre Dame in the most pure cipher? I told you all about their first game of the season on 9-5. See how Notre Dame's 95, like their first game was on Sunday, 9-5, the only ranked game on that day. They won with 41 points. The first touchdown was the 41-yarder to the tight end. But now they're back with another 41 win over Wisconsin. Big game. 41 the 13th prime, 41-13, 54 points. Jesuit order 54. But the riddle was through where the game was played at, Soldier Field. Somebody else in my community who follows my work, they did the extra homework, and they were all over Notre Dame, and they were right for it. Baylor, Iowa State was a game I wasn't comfortable with because the 73 could have landed on either side. Remember, Baylor, 73 was huge for them in the championship for college basketball this year. First championship in 73 years. Baylor, 73. The problem with this game was the 73 could have fell either way, and when that happens, I'm not good. If there are riddles on both sides, like, I have bad luck. That's where you see that I have bad luck. I've just learned to stay away from games where the number I'm looking at is on both sides, because it seems like more often than not, if I see the same number on both sides and I have to pick, I'll pick the wrong one. I'm bad like that. But, yeah, but it was a 73 ritual no matter how they did it. And BYU will be 5-0 next week. Utah's the only state that equals 50. They're playing Utah State next week. They already upset. BYU's been awesome for us this year. This past week, they didn't have much value, but the last 2 weeks, they were great upsets for us with great riddles. Coastal Carolina was a no-brainer. Michigan was a no-brainer. That game was played tough. Michigan State, I forget what the riddle was, but we had Michigan State. North Carolina, Georgia Tech, this one was a little bit of a surprise to me. The reason why, see, things like this can be tricky. If you write out Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, you see how it's 128? And if I write out Tar Heels, it's also 128. The North Carolina Tar Heels, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Had North Carolina's coach won, he would have stayed on 128 losses. But this is why I'm always communicating to my community. When you can stay on a number, it's iffy. Sometimes they do stay, but sometimes they'll pick up the next number in the series. Like, let's say the Tar Heels coach was on 127 losses coming into this game. I would have been like, okay, we're taking Georgia Tech all day. He's getting that 128th loss against Georgia Tech. But coming in with 128, it's like, he could stay on it. And he didn't. So he picked up the 129. Auburn had a nice little riddle, but no surprise there. They're playing Georgia State. And, Alabama, Georgia again. The game that really burned me in college football this week, it was still a great week, but I mean, it just could have been, for a lot of people, they would have made a lot more money had Stanford come through. Games like this make me scratch my head because this was a good riddle for Stanford to win here. It was the day leaving 97 days left in the year, and in the most simple cipher, Stanford's 97, right? That doesn't mean that you'll win because of that, but what made it look good for Stanford is 97 is the 25th prime number, and had Stanford won, they would have got their 25th home win over UCLA. I'm a bit surprised that did not happen. And sometimes I wonder if there's too much money one way, or maybe it's us, man. Maybe they're like, we're not going to let them hit on North Carolina State and Stanford, because Stanford was a nice payout as well. They were underdogs. But usually when a team has a riddle like that, especially on their home field, those are coming through. So a little bit surprised about that one. I forget the Oklahoma State thing too, but they had the better riddle in that game versus Kansas State. And so, again, you guys, it's all rigged. College and pro, and so often they're syncing up college and pro. Never forget when Nick Saban won his 6th championship at age 66 in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and then his old coaching partner, Bill Belichick, with the Browns. The next year, he won the Super Bowl at age 66, winning his 6th championship as a head coach. But yeah, all this stuff is fixed, you guys. It's all fixed. And for the idiots who's like, well, then why can't you call every single game? Again, just go jump off a bridge, dumbass. Call more games with more accuracy than anybody you ever seen in your lifetime, and let's be honest about it, So, helped a lot of people make a lot of money for a lot of years. It's amazing that I still have dummies in the chat. They're like, why don't you put out the picks before the game? It's like, What aren't you morons getting? I used to do that for free for 5 years on here, and then 3 years ago I said, hey, how about send me $5 a month and I'll hook you up with picks all month. And that's what we've been doing ever since. So, yeah, again, I mean, read it and weep, you guys. All about 41 for Monday Night Football with Dallas. 41 points scored. Oh, yeah. That was the other thing. That's the other thing, man. That was the other thing about 41. You see how the coach, Mike McCarthy, today's his 322nd day of his age, right? On the day of this 41-point game. Remember, in the most pure cipher, Skull and Bones 41, right? Number 41, George Bush, Mr. Skull and Bones, dead on November 30th, 11 plus 30, 41. Remember who died on that day before him? Paul Walker, George Herbert Walker, Paul Walker. Paul Walker died in a red Porsche in a mysterious accident. Have you ever seen his movie? One of his first movies when he was a young actor called The Skulls, about Skull and Bones, where the fraternity gives him a red Porsche. Then he ends up dying in a red Porsche on November 30th, 11 plus 30, 41, years before number 41 dies on that day. And don't forget, I told you number 41 wasn't going to live past 94, and he wasn't going to live past November of 2018. I told you that. He wasn't going to make it past the 11th month, not the guy who called 9/11 11 years to the day, while his son was president, another Skull and Bones member. And with regards to Skull and Bones, don't forget American football is credited to Walter Camp, who went to Yale and was very likely a member of Skull and Bones at Yale. So you got the full-on 41 ritual for tonight. It just couldn't have been any more 41. And sure enough, 41 points on the scoreboard. And honestly, at the end of the day, like, if anybody watches these presentations and think this is bullshit, I mean, you just know that person's head is full of nothing but bullshit. They watch these rigged fucking games that are a huge joke, and they think that's real, but then here's undeniable evidence doing the same shit for 8 years straight, calling all these leagues, college and pro, before it happens, and I mean, you're still sitting there with your thumb up your ass, on the fence, doubting. I mean... Again, what I have to acknowledge about you, like for me to find some compassion for you, the poor thing that you are, is I recognize that the reason you are so dumb and in the state of incompetence that you are is because of this same Jesuit cabal. They have destroyed you from birth. They've poisoned you with shit food that your parents probably fed you, that you probably fed yourself. They've poisoned you with bullshit in terms of beliefs. You don't think, you just believe in authority and what's been taught to you since you were a child. That's what, I mean, most Americans are stunted at age 2 in terms of like cognitive development, everything that happened to them as a 2-year-old, from religion to scolding by authority to just what they were learning about the world. That's just where they are. They're just stuck in this infantile stage and don't have, they don't have the minds that they should have to see through the obvious bullshit. That's why they're sitting there. I mean, how many idiots got vaccinated from criminal Pfizer so they could go to watch one of these rigged fucking sports games? You know what I mean? Again, nobody would do this who was intelligent. And there's not many intelligent people, is what I'm here to tell you. And I've known that since I was a child as well. Sorry, guys, you can hate on me all you want, but I'm speaking facts, and I'm telling you my whole life I've been running circles around everybody. On the sports field, in the classroom. So... keep hating all you want. Haters aren't prospering. None of my haters are prospering. You guys are just, your value just sinks by the day, going against the truth. Doesn't help you out. Doesn't help. And you know what? I'd love to see is how many of my haters are sitting there taking my picks and still making money off it. I'm sure there's some people like that. There's some fucked up people in this world, man. There is some sad people in this world. But, you don't want to doubt this knowledge in these presentations, you guys. I don't have anything left to prove. I don't need to call another game the rest of my life, Called more games in the time I've been here in the last 8 years than probably anybody who's ever walked this earth's called, honestly, to be perfectly honest. What they made some movie with Matthew McConaughey based on a true life story about a guy calling games. I'd like to see his record versus mine over the time I've been here. Future's everything. So, tell you what, they should make a Hollywood movie about this. I'm telling you, this is a lot more impressive. But anyway, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. And sometimes you got to toot your own horn because there's too many dumb lemmings in this world to get the recognition you should for the work you've been doing.